Hello everyone. We are discussing heat capacities in the last class, and in today's class we just recollect heat capacities and we try to specify some things regarding the heat capacities. Then we do something thermodynamic properties in isothermal process and adiabatic process. Okay. What is heat capacity? Heat capacity is defined as heat required to raise the temperature of a substance by 1 degree. And if we specify the mass, we can call it as specific heat capacity. So, what is specific heat capacity? Specific heat capacity is heat required to raise 1 gram of substance by 1 degree. For example, if we take the water requires 4.184 joules of energy to raise 1 gram of water by a degree of 1 centigrade, which is exactly equal to 1 calorie. So this is a heat capacity. Also here, the specification of mass is 1 gram, but generally in the science we deal with moles. So therefore it's better to define molar heat capacities also. Now we are defining molar heat capacities. And we have already discussed that heat capacity depends on the path. So for the gases, the heat capacity is dependent on path. So there is something called CV and there is something called CP. Heat capacity at constant volume and heat capacity at constant pressure. And if we define it for 1 mole of gas, then we call it as a molar heat capacity at constant volume. Then I can write here N, and this is called as a molar heat capacity for 1 mole of gas, that is CPN. And we proved in the last class that is Cp minus Cv equal to R for 1 mole gas. That means molar specific heat of gas at constant pressure minus molar heat capacity at constant volume is equal to R. So for if we have a n number of moles, then we do not have a Cp and Cv. We have a simple Cp and Cv, not the molar heat capacities. Then Cp minus Cv we get Nr. So let's change this equation slightly. Cpn and this is Cvn. This is the difference of molar heat capacities is equal to R. Okay. Now we have also learned that Cv is actually change in internal energy with respect to temperature at constant value, and Cp is constant value, sorry, and Cp equal to delta H, that means change in enthalpy at constant temperature at change in enthalpy with respect to temperature at constant pressure. Okay, so from this what we can write, delta E equal to Cv delta T and delta H equal to Cp delta T. For small changes we can write dE equal to Cv dt and dH equal to Cp dt. For 1 mole of for n moles, so dE equal to nCv dt and dH equal to nCp dt. This is the heat capacities for gases at constant pressure and constant volume, and the relationships with their corresponding properties like internal energy and enthalpy. Now, today's main class is about thermodynamic properties in several processes, that is isothermal process and adiabatic process. Now let's study thermodynamic properties. This in isothermal process. In isothermal process. And later we study thermodynamic properties in adiabatic process. Now let's take isothermal expansion. Isothermal expansion. Expansion means work done by the system on the surroundings, and here it is done keeping the temperature of the system constant at any stage of the process. So here this is a constant temperature process. This is a constant temperature process. Means delta T is equal to 0. And also we know that internal energy is only a function of temperature. Therefore, here internal energy change delta E is equal to 0 because there is no change in temperature, therefore there is no change in the internal energy. Now, if we apply the first law of thermodynamics to this process, delta E equal to Q plus W, and from this we can write 0 equal to Q plus W. Then what happens? Q equal to negative W. So that means system is absorbing the work, heat to perform the work, to perform the expansion. So what is the work done in the process? Now let's see. W is all negative P external times delta V. Integral. Okay, now general formula P external times delta V. So the general expression. So from this what we can write? Q equal to negative W. So the heat received is P external times delta V. The negative of negative will become positive. So what happens here? Here I have not mentioned the expansion is reversible or irreversible. Now let's take reversible isothermal expansion. Isothermal expansion. What is the meaning of reversible? A reversible process is the one where the internal pressure and external pressure are always in the same range. So here, now let me take a container that is filled with a gas. This is gas and its pressure is P1 and the volume is V1. Now let's say P external is something here that is equal to P1, that is internal pressure. And after the expansion, let's say the system reached the new state where the system reaching the new state P2 and the volume V2. Now here P external equal to P2. So in the middle, the temperature is between, the pressure is between P1 and P2. The beginning of the process, the pressure is P1. At the end of the process, the pressure is P2. At any stage of the process, the pressure, external pressure is greater than P2 and smaller than P1. So what happened here? This is the volume change. So earlier we have here, this is V1 and this is V2. And now what is the volume change here? Delta V equal to V2 minus V1. Let's say the process is happening reversibly, therefore the change at every state, let's say dV. Therefore the little work done at every state is known as, at every step is known as a negative P external times T. Here this P external is not a constant term, this is continuously changing. This is continuously changing. Therefore it is an important thing. it is a variable always. The P external is here variable. So the total work done in the entire process of bringing the system from P1 V1 to P2 V2 is integral dW. That's equal to integral P external times dV over the volume of V1 to V2. So if I rewrite this equation, I get negative V1 to V2 P external times dV. Here I should not bring out the P external out of the integration. Why? Because P external is variable. Now let's use the ideal gas equation, PV equal to nRT. For 1 mole of gas, that is PV equal to, okay, let's keep for n moles on PV equal to nRT. So therefore what happens now, V equal to P equal to nRT over V. Now let's plug in. Now therefore work equal to integral dW from V1 to V2, that's equal to negative V integration V1 to V2 nRT over V dV. So what happens now? This is a isothermal process. Therefore temperature is a constant. R we know it is a constant. N is also constant. Therefore I keep negative nRT outside. Now I get my integration V1 to V2 dV over V. Now we know the formula, integral 1 over x dx is equal to ln x. So what happens here now, we get W is equal to work done negative nRT ln V from V1 to V2. So that gives us the work negative nRT ln V2 minus ln V1. So ln V2 minus ln V1 is ln V2 over V1. So negative nRT ln V2 over V1. This is the work done by the gas in the isothermal reversible expansion. Let's also write in terms of the pressure, because pressure is also changing in the process. So let's use the Boyle's law, P1 V1 equal to P2 V2. Therefore from this I can write P1 over P2 is equal to V2 over V1. Now let's substitute P1 over P2 in the place of V2 over V1. Now that makes work equal to negative nRT ln P1 over P2. So this is the work done in isothermal expansion. And what is the heat absorbed in this process? That is negative W. Therefore Q equal to negative of negative is positive nRT ln V2 over V1, which is equal to nRT ln P1 over P2. So these can be expressed in simple logs also. Therefore work equal to negative 2.303 nRT log V2 over V1, which is equal to negative 2.303 nRT log P1 over P2. So earlier one is a natural log, this is a log expressed in base 10. The same way work equal to 2.303 nRT log V2 over V1, which is equal to 2.303 nRT log P1 over P2. So these are the expressions for work and heat in isothermal expansion in a reversible manner. And what is the internal energy change in the isothermal process? That is 0. So this is isothermal expansion in reversible manner. And what about the compression? compression is exactly reverse of expansion. So therefore only there is a sign change with respect to the compression in terms of work and heat for the gas in isothermal compression in reversible process. Now let's go what will happen if the gas expands freely, that means against vacuum. Now let's say if the gas is expanding freely, that is free expansion, that means against vacuum. Here against vacuum means external pressure is zero. So what happens here? Initially we have taken gas at V1 value, that is expanding to the final value V2, and V2 is greater than V1. So let's put it in a diagrammatic pictorial way. This is P1 and V1. Now let's say here P external is equal to 0. What happens after the expansion? The value is higher. Still there is no external pressure, that is 0, but it reached P2 and V2. And V2 is greater than P1 and P2 is less than P1 inside, but external pressure is 0. And what is the work done here? Work done equal to, we know that, negative P external times delta V. As P external is V, therefore work here is 0. That means the gas is expanding freely without taking the energy from outside. So why? Because in isothermal process there is no change in the internal energy. We know delta E is equal to 0 for isothermal process, and we also learned that W equal to 0. Now let's plug here in the first thermodynamics. Delta E equal to Q plus W. That makes 0 equal to Q plus 0. That means 0. That means without using its energy and without taking the heat from outside, the system is expanding in the vacuum. So that is a free expansion. So now let's go to the irreversible expansion of a gas in isothermal process. So how we do the reversible expansion? In the reversible expansion, we always make sure that external pressure is slightly smaller than internal pressure. How we perform that one? Let's take a gas which is at P1 and V1, and let's apply external pressure using some pebbles here. The total pebbles here causing some pressure P external. If we take out one pebble, then what happens? P external is slightly smaller than the P1. So when pebbles are removed in a gradual manner, P external is slightly smaller than P1. That means P external is P1 minus D. Therefore what happens? The system expands a little bit of value, that is dV. Now if we remove one more pebble, another step expansion, slowly the volume is expanding. So at every stage the external pressure is varying. So means the process is happening very slow. The reverse process is happening very slow. Therefore if we draw the graph for this isothermal reversible expansion in a PV graph, this is pressure axis, this is volume axis. Initially we are at P1 and V1, and let's say finally we are at P2 and V2. This is V2, This is V1 and this is P2 and this is P1, and we know that expansion V1 is less than V2, therefore P1 is greater than P2. So when the gas is expanding, the pressure gradually decreasing, therefore the work happened in the isothermal reversible expansion is this one. So this is isothermal reversible expansion. Now let us see what will happen if the gas is expanded in a very quick fashion, like using some fixed external pressure which is not varying, it's a constant external pressure and the volume is changing. That means system is doing the work. Now let's take the system, so which is at P1 and V1, basically gas having pressure V1, pressure P1 and volume V1. Let's say here we have external pressure, some external pressure. Let's say that external pressure is equal to P2. So how long that expansion happens? Till the point the inside pressure is equal to the external pressure. That means the expansion happens till external pressure equal to internal pressure. So we already know external pressure is P2. Therefore now internal pressure becomes P2 and the volume is P2. So therefore this is the new state of the system. So here at every stage the external pressure is fixed. How much is that? P2. At every state P external is equal to P2, is constant. This is constant. It's not varying. Therefore what we write here, the work done is equal to negative P external times delta V. Therefore we have negative P external V2 minus V1. That is the work done in isothermal irreversible process. So here how the work is done? By taking the heat from the surroundings. Therefore here we can write something by using the first law of thermodynamics, that is delta E equal to Q plus W. As it is an isothermal process, delta E equal to 0, therefore Q equal to W. Therefore the Q equal to negative W. Therefore work is done by absorbing the energy from the surroundings. So therefore here the expression for work done, we can write integral V1 to V2 P external times dV, and here is a P external is constant, so we can keep P external is outside, V1 to V2. So now here dV is a state function, therefore for the state functions integral V1 to V2 dV equal to delta V, that is V2 minus V1. So therefore I can write work equal to negative P external times V2 minus V1. Therefore W equal to negative P external times delta V. This is the work done in isothermal irreversible expansion. Let's put it in a diagram. So this is the volume change and this is the pressure. So let's say here we have it P1 and V1 initial state, and finally we reached P2 V2 in an irreversible fashion. Okay, this is pressure axis and this is volume axis. Now here system is reaching from here to here, but the work done here is basically, if we see here, delta V is this much. This is the work done. Why? System is expanding always against the external pressure, that is P2. We know P external is P2. So against the external pressure of P2, how much is the volume change? Delta V. Now this is P external, P2, which is P external. Therefore, the product of external pressure times delta V. What is that? Negative P external times delta V, which is smaller than the area under the curve. This area, this part basically higher extra in the reversible process. This part is extra in reversible process. So what we can infer from this? In reversible process, the inference here is that the work done in irreversible process is smaller than work done in reversible process. Why? In irreversible process, the work is always happening at a pressure which is final pressure, always smaller than the work, the pressure, external pressure in the reversible process, which is always higher than the final pressure, smaller than the initial pressure. So therefore, we can extract maximum work in the isothermal reversible process. In any reversible process, the maximum work is coming out, and the problem with that is it is happening slowly. Therefore, maximum work is extracted from reversible process. That means maximum heat going inside. So what we can write here? Maximum heat into the system and maximum work coming out of the system. Maximum work coming out of the system. This is isothermal process. So we have derived the work done for isothermal reversible expansion, isothermal irreversible expansion, and also free expansion. Now the next process is adiabatic process. What is adiabatic process? A process where the system is not exchanging heat between itself and surroundings. Therefore, Q equal to 0 in the adiabatic process. And if we apply the first law of thermodynamics, delta E equal to Q plus W, so that is giving us delta E equal to W. That means the work done in adiabatic process is always at the expense of its internal energy. System is doing the work by using its own energy. It's not taking heat from outside. Therefore, how can it perform the work? Only by using the energy it possessing because of its existence, that is internal energy. Okay, so and we know that delta E equal to NCV delta T. Therefore, what is the work done in isothermal process? W equal to NCV delta T. So this is the work done in adiabatic process. If it is expansion, W is negative. For expansion, W is negative and delta E is also negative. Why? It is expansion always happens along with temperature drop. Therefore, the T2 is always less than T1. Why? After using the energy to expand, its energy is lost. That means the final temperature is less than the initial temperature. Therefore, delta T is less than 0 in isothermal in adiabatic expansion. And the expression for the W is NCV delta T, which is also equal to delta E. Okay, next. Now let's go for adiabatic reversible expansion, and we found that Q equal to 0 for adiabatic expansion, and from that delta E equal to Q plus W, the same expression. from this delta E equal to W, which is equal to NCV delta T. So therefore, sorry, this is not W, this is not Q, this is W. So therefore delta E equal to W equal to NCV delta T for adiabatic reversible expansion. Adiabatic reversible expansion. And also work we can write negative P external times V2 minus V1. Therefore work equal to negative P external times, what is the V2? RT2 over P2 minus RT1 over P1. And this is for irreversible process, sorry. This is for irreversible process because here the external pressure is a fixed quantity, that is P2. And what is the work done in reversible process? That is NCV delta T in adiabatic process. So this is about the work done in adiabatic process and isothermal process. Now let's go to the relationship between volume, temperature and pressure in adiabatic process. So in isothermal process, we know that PV equal to constant, Boyle's law and Charles law and everything. But slightly the relationships are different in the adiabatic process. Now let's take the adiabatic process. The relationships between volume, pressure and temperature in adiabatic process. And we know first law of thermodynamics, that is delta E equal to Q plus W. For adiabatic process, Q equal to 0, therefore we get delta E equal to W. Now let's apply this for a small change. A little work is done by using the little internal energy. Therefore, I can write dE equal to 0 plus dW. And we know that what is the dE? dE is NCV dt. And what is the dW? dW is negative PdV. Okay. Now, both are same, dE equal to dW. That makes CV dt is equal to negative PdV. Now let's take ideal gas equation. PV equal to nRT, then P equal to nRT over V. Let's substitute here. The PV dt is equal to negative nRT over V dV. So now I can write this equation as CV times dt over T is equal to negative nR times dV over P. Why? In the adiabatic process, the temperature is changing when the volume is changing. So therefore, both temperature and volumes are variables here. So that's why I separated both temperature and volume. So now let's integrate on both sides. That makes, so the temperature change is from T1 to T2 and the volume is changing from V1 to V2. Let's say this is changed from T1 to T2 and CV is outside, and here negative nR integral V1 to V2 dv over v. So if we get the integration for this, we get Cv ln t from temperature T1 to T2 is equal to negative nr ln v from volume V1 to V2. That gives us Cv ln T2 minus ln T1 is equal to negative nr ln V2 minus ln V1. So further we can simplify this as Cv ln T2 over T1 is equal to negative nr ln V2 over V1. Okay, now if I write this equation Cv ln T2 over T1 equal to, now if I bring the negative into the ln inside, it becomes ln nr times ln V1 over V2. So why negative ln x is equal to ln 1 over x. So this is the formula. So here negative ln V2 over equal V1 equal to ln V1 over V2. So numerator becomes denominator, denominator becomes numerator. So therefore I can rewrite this equation as ln T2 over T1 is equal to nr over Cv times ln V1 over V2. Let's take 1 mole of gas, 1 mole gas. So that makes n equal to 1. So therefore I can write ln T2 over T1 is equal to R over Cv ln V1 over V2. So ln T2 over T1 is equal to ln V1 over V2 raised to the power of R over Cv. So what is the formula here? N times ln A equal to ln A raised to the power of m. So the coefficient, when it goes inside, that becomes a power of the term inside the log. So that is what happened here. Now if we take anti-log on both sides, then that becomes T2 over T1 is equal to V1 over V2 power R over Cv. And we know that Cp minus Cv equal to R. So if we plug here T2 over T1 equal to V1 over V2 whole power Cp minus Cv over Cv. So that gives us T2 over T1 is equal to V1 over V2. If we distribute the denominator to both the terms in the numerator, we get Cp over Cv minus 1. And what is Cp over Cv? That's known as a gamma. So that makes the equation T2 over T1 is equal to V2 over, sorry, V1 over V2 raised to the power of gamma minus 1. So now T2 over T1 is equal to V1 power gamma minus 1 over V2 power gamma minus 1. If we do the cross multiplication, we get T2 times V2 power gamma minus 1 is equal to T1 times V1 power gamma minus 1. So from this what we can write? T times V power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. So basically TV power R over CV equal to 1. Why? So the R over CV is equal to gamma minus 1. Let's prove it here. Cp minus Cv over Cv, that's equal to Cp over Cv minus Cv over Cv is 1, that's equal to gamma minus 1. So I replaced gamma minus 1 in the previous equation with R over Cv. So this is the relationship between the temperature and volume in adiabatic process. Now let's take the relationship between pressure and volume now. That is, we know that for ideal gas, let's take P1 V1 equal to nRT1, P2 V2 equal to, at the second state, nRT2. So now let's divide the two equations. Then what happens? P1 over V1, P1 V1 over P2 V2 is equal to nRT1 over nRT2. So that gives us T1 over T2 equal to T1 over P1 V1 over T2 V2. And what is the expression we have earlier? The expression earlier we have is this one, that is T2 over T1 is equal to V1 over V2 raised to the power of gamma minus 1. So now this is the equation we got from ideal gas equation at two states. So now I slightly modify this, that is T2 over T1 is equal to P2 V2 over P1 V1. So let's substitute here in this equation. So then what happens? So P2 V2 in the place of T2 over P1 V1 in the place of T1, that is equal to V1 over P2 power gamma minus 1. So now I just keep pressure terms on the left side, that gives P2 over P1. Now I have V1 over V2 power gamma minus 1 on the right side already. That V1 which is in the denominator on the left side, when it comes to the right side, that enters the numerator. That means we get V1 here, and the V2 which is in the numerator on the left side, when it comes to the right side, it goes into the denominator. So that gives us the equation P2 over P1 is equal to V1 power gamma minus 1 times V1 is V1 power gamma, and in the denominator V2 power gamma minus 1 times V2 is, that is also V2 power gamma. So finally we get this equation. So that makes P2 V2 power gamma is equal to P1 V1 power gamma. So that makes the equation PV power gamma equal to constant. So this is the relationship between pressure and volume. So far we have learned relationships between temperature and volume and pressure and volume. So what is that? T times P raised to the power of R over Cv equal to constant, which is basically T times V raised to the power of gamma minus 1 equal to constant, and other relationship is PV power gamma equal to constant. And one more relationship we have to prove, that is relationship between pressure and temperature, that we will cover in the next process. In the next class, we also cover the dependence of enthalpy and internal energy exclusively on temperature. They don't depend on pressure and volume. We also prove that using the Joule's experiment. And this is the class for today. Thank you very much.